Hello everybody, this is a Japanese maple that I've grown from seed. Just reading the label to remind myself, it's 2018, so actually it's only been 2 years, so that's not bad at all. Fair bit of growth, chunks as thick as my finger. At the moment it's growing in this, well, this is actually a cat litter tray that I bought and drilled some big holes in the bottom for drainage, and it makes an acceptable training pot. It's fairly robust. It's had 2 years outside, and at the moment has shown no signs of the plastic degrading particularly, although I have had it in a fairly shady spot. So this tree is actually grown through a CD, the label tells me. I don't remember doing it, if I'm absolutely honest. I've just been allowing it to grow freely. And let's see if I can move you in so you can see where that CD is placed. Okay, so tucked down in there, I really don't think you can see it very easily. There is a CD. Yeah, you can. Looking at the screen, you should be able to see it. Now the tree has begun to grow over. It's basically filled the central hole and is beginning to grow over, so hopefully it'll root into this top portion. That's my plan for this tree, and yeah, we'll get a nice radial root system growing in this top layer of soil, which will be most pleasing if I can pull it off. I'm going to set the tree up for the rest of this year, so I will be removing some of these extra long growths and shortening it back, but I shan't be doing any root work. My plan for today is just to shorten back a lot of these tall growths. I mean, the tree, if I stood it on the floor at its tallest shoot, which is way up, way up, I'll bend it down so you can see, would be well over 6 feet tall, and obviously I want to bring it down, set it up to start becoming a little bit more, well, I'm not really aiming for ramification at this point, but I do want to build this trunk with some taper, so I'm going to just bring it back within bounds and set it up, as I say, for this coming season. Okay, very simple but important first step for this tree is to remove some of this top layer of substrate, pull out a few weeds. This tree has been sat on the bench underneath a large conifer that was actually in my neighbour's garden but hangs over the fence. There's a lot of dead needles and things in here, which I'm not too worried about, but what I want to do is tidy it up a little bit, as they say, get rid of weeds and make a bit of space where I can put in some fertiliser, some controlled release fertiliser, and then cover that over with some fresh compost. Make sure that the tree is kept well fed throughout the rest of this season. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm sorry if you've heard it before, but I know that not everybody watches all of my videos, and somebody might have popped into this one from somewhere else and never seen any of the others. This is controlled release fertilizer as opposed to slow release. The difference being controlled release only lets out the fertilizer from these little pellets when the growing conditions are just right, when the soil is damp enough and the weather is warm enough, whereas slow release just lets it trickle out, and whatever the weather, so you could end up losing the goodness before the plant's able to take it out. So yeah, I always use controlled release. So I'm just covering that over with a bit of fresh substrate. That'll ensure that it stays damp. And it can then leach down into the pot, and hopefully as the water goes through this pot it'll take some of this fertilizer with it. Okay, that'll do nicely. Okay, so I don't really need to water that in. The rest of the week is forecast with rain, scattered showers, scattered thunderstorms, whatever scattered thunderstorms means, etc. And rain and snow at the weekend. So, yeah, I'm not going to bother wasting my time watering that in. But just to give you a quick 360 before I start work, the tree's quite two-dimensional. But hopefully that'll improve as the years go by. Certainly cutting it back now is going to cause lots of buds to pop, I hope, and we'll begin to get some extra movement in different directions. I'm going to cut it back. I've got a sort of interesting bend here. I'm going to cut it back just to this point. So I'm going to do that before I do any more talking, whilst I'm feeling brave, and before I lose my nerve. Okay, I probably cut that back a little too close. Sometimes you will get a bit of dieback, but I'm fairly confident that this branch will survive. If not, then I'll have to choose a new leader. I'm going to shorten, in fact no, I'm going to lose these lower branches, or the most of them. I'm going to keep this one as a sacrifice branch. I'm going to take off that piece and just let this tree, this branch particularly, grow out. Now, with Japanese maples, what you'll find is if you cut them like this, when the sap is rising, they will bleed badly. By pruning this now, this wound will have a bit of time to dry up before the sap starts rising, and hopefully it won't bleed so badly. That's the plan. And that's my thought process. So I'm going to shorten all these other branches. I don't even think I want that one. Or that one. And I'm going to put a piece of wire to bring this more upright. I wish now I'd done it, but I wish I had left more of a stub there. But I can't put it back, so we're just going to have to, as I say, keep things crossed. I may have been a bit rash, but we shall see. Okay, so a little piece of wire. Again, I said before, it's thicker than is necessary, but I know it will hold this bend and it won't cut in quite as quickly. So I'll just put in a little bit of movement. A little bit more. Okay. And then, for good measure, I'm going to shorten the top. Okay, so my label's snapped. It did say 2018 through a CD, grow freely, and that's exactly what I'm going to do again this year. I'll have to put a new label in that. But let's give you a quick 360. That's just showing you what you can get in a couple of years. So what did I have? 2018, 2019, 2020. So 3 years from seed. A relatively substantial trunk. If you put it in a relatively big pot, if you put it in the ground, you'll get even more. But yeah, that's everything done for this year, and I'm just going to let it grow. Maybe come back and do a bit of tidying up if I get dieback, but hopefully I won't. Fingers crossed. Quick twirl. The trunk's got some movement. Let me just take out that dead stub just there. Better. Bird poop, lovely. Yeah, so there we go. Which will be the front? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see how the Nabari goes. Thank you all for watching. Please, please, please take care of yourselves. Stay safe.